talk about, I was reminded of this recently. Somebody sent me, a friend of mine sent me a Christmas card with a little thing about this in it, and it reminded me of this. So I want to talk about this 15th century art form, Japanese art form called Kinstugi. And if you've not heard of it, here is a Kinstugi pot. That's a picture of a Kinstugi pot. And it's the art of taking broken pottery and turning it into something even more beautiful with strands of gold. So the resin that holds the conjoined broken pieces of pottery together are made of gold. And the theory is that, that something's more beautiful when it is repaired and rather than when in its original form. So the more spiritual aspects of kintsugi is this idea that we need to embrace our change, that we need to embrace our agents of trauma that land in our world, in our bodies, in our lives, and how do we use what has come to befall upon us as something that cultivates our strength and our resiliency and our growth, instead of just now we're broken and we're in pieces on the floor. So I want to read just a little bit about this that was on this form that my friend sent to me. Because all of life is neither entirely broken nor fully complete, there are within each of our histories inevitable cracks that need filling, fractures that need mending. How we begin to make repairs in the aftermath is up to us. We can fill the crevices with the things that may seem easiest at first glance, the rubble, the ash, the stuff of life that ends up doing us more harm than good. Or we can dig deeper past the surface till we find the specks of gold hidden amidst the dust. Kintsugi refocuses our attention from what should have been toward creating something infinitely more beautiful with what remains, and perhaps far more honoring of who we were meant to be all along. Kintsugi provides a lens to see an object's scars as being a part of its grand design, and it offers us the opportunity to do the same, to see our lives as a rare work of art. So go ahead and close your eyes and sit up straight and tall. And first, just imagine that you can dip yourself in a bath of gold, that liquid warm gold. Maybe you can fill it up in your bathtub and slip right in, or maybe you can slip into a river or a stream that is filled with warm liquid gold. So whatever your visualization is, imagine that whatever is difficult for you right now, the cracks that are finding their way to the surface, can, instead of trying to hide the cracks, kind of put, duct tape over the cracks, can we instead dip ourselves into something that can be much more resilient, forged deeper in the fire of transformation? And let the things that might have broken us turn us into something even more beautiful for the world to share. Our gifts often come from these broken places. So whatever cracks you need filling right now, whether it's in your body or your mind or your heart, can you allow a sense of deep strength to come from the way you are healing and mending? Can you revel in the beauty of what that might look like for you? Can we turn toward what is and how we are fully present with what is, instead of the wishing for what might have been? So as you kind of allow that liquid gold to find its places in your mind, body, and spirit, let yourself come into the groundedness of your breath. Can you treat your body in your practice today as if your scars, your wounds, your cracks, your troubles are beautiful? They define a part of who you are as the beautiful person that you are. Feel grounded. Drop weight into the pelvis. Feel the growing length of the spine. Open up your shoulders so that your heart broadens. Open up the space for your breath to flow. What can melt here? What's tense still? What can melt? Place your palms together at your heart and bow in. All right, and then let's release the hands and come onto your mat. So as you find your way onto your back, can you embrace yourself? Okay, so just take a moment to spread your limbs out and forget about what was yesterday or 10 years ago and just feel for what is right now. How can your practice encourage the most capacity for space, freedom, movement, stability, resiliency? So give yourself those gifts through your practice. Let those be your goals, your aims, instead of I should be able to do this or I used to be able to do that. All right, so stretch and lengthen. Maybe yawn, maybe hold your breath and squeeze. Maybe just relax. Follow your impulses. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest and rock around a little bit. So sway from side to side. You can let your whole spine sway, maybe even your head. Can you slosh around from left to right and just let things rest and relax? And then keep your right knee into your chest and stretch that left leg long. Roll around in your ankles and your feet. And go ahead and grab your strap. If you don't have a strap, no problem. And let's switch legs. Bring your left knee into the chest, right leg long on the floor. Once again, open up the feet. Spread some bones around. Wiggle the bones in your feet, not just your toes, but all the bones in your feet. See if you can get some mobility in. And then back to the right knee into the chest. Grab your strap, wrap it around your foot, and lift it straight up in the air. If you don't have a strap, just interlace your hands behind your hamstring somewhere. And then let's just bend and straighten the leg just for a moment here so that you can feel the compression in your hip, but also so that when you straighten your leg, press into the strap, reach up toward the sky. See if you can find that length. And then one more time, go ahead and press it up and now leave the leg straight. As you press up, root down. So feel the simultaneous opposition of reaching toward the sky and rooting down toward the earth. Open up the back of the leg. See where you're feeling this. Can you enjoy this? What are you enjoying about the way this feels in your body? Open up the spine. Relax the shoulders. Have enough give on the strap so your shoulders are easy and gentle. Then take the strap into the right hand and we're going to open up the right leg. Now remember, your left leg can always be bent in this position. You don't have to keep the leg grounded on the floor. You can bend your knee if you want. So find what's going to give you a sense of stability across your pelvis where you're not leaning and listing to the right, but staying grounded. Extend the spine. Check out the feeling through your inner thigh muscles. Open things up. Try not to let the sensation just be at your inner knee and at your sit bones. Find the belly of your inner thighs. How's your breath? Do you tend to hold your breath? How are your shoulders? Where is tension creeping that it doesn't need to be? And then lift that leg straight back up again. Take the strap into the left hand and cross over to the left with your thigh, with your shin. Press into the foot, root the hip. See if now, instead of trying to just take your hip down toward the earth, move it back away from your shoulder. Discover your breath. Relax the shoulders. Melt the head into the floor. And then go ahead and lift that leg straight up in the air again. 2 feet in the strap. Reach your feet up in the air. Drop your hips down into the earth. Extending through the spine. And then we're going to switch legs. So left foot is in the strap. Right leg is on the floor. Either foot or whole leg on the floor. Let's have a moment of bending and straightening that left leg just a couple of times so you can really feel the push up toward the sky into the strap. And then when you're ready, feel that length and at the same time root down through your hips. So find the root to rise. Can you feel that sense of yielding and giving that yielding energy up through your body as well? Extend the spine, feel the Achilles, and then take the strap into the left hand and we're going to open the leg out to the left, grounding the right side of the body. So if you tend to have trouble with this, where you feel weird in your pelvis like you're a chicken bone, bend your knee, and that might help you get a little bit more root of your right femur bone down into the pelvis to stabilize your pelvis from listing to the left. So however you're comfortable. Melt the shoulders and neck and head. Feel the belly of your inner thighs stretch. Find your breath again and again. Just keep coming home to the breath. Every time you think of it, find the breathing. And lift that left leg straight back up. Take the strap into the right hand. Cross the left leg over to the right. Feel the femur bone move away. Feel the reach through your foot. Extend the spine. How's your breath? Is there a part of your head that you can melt down? Okay, let's lift that leg straight up in the air again, and then take that leg down. Starfish your body open, extend your limbs, wiggle your toes, take a deep breath in and squeeze all your muscles, whatever you can find, give a good squeeze to it all, and then exhale, knees into your chest, chin up. Take a deep breath in while you're here, all your breath out and squeeze, even your face. And then find your breath. Open your starfish out. Exhale, close up into a little ball. Roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. So cat-cows, as you find your way onto all fours, see what it feels like to have that sense of movement through your spine. So appreciate the way our vertebrae is so healthy and moves so well. And even if you have some spots that don't move so well, can you appreciate the movement that you do have? Live in the space you have instead of the space you wish you had. All right, and then feel yourself move around any way you want to move around. How's your breathing? Are you connecting with different parts of your body? Can you feel how your shoulder blades and your ribs connect to your spine? How your head and your pelvis connect to your spine? All right, and then curl the toes under and find your way up to dog pose. All right, find the breath, extending through the spine here, opening your body up. Feel the reach. Melt the eyes, melt the skull. See if you can let your brain rest down. Open up the body in any way you want. Maybe you want to pedal your feet or bend a knee, sway a hip, bounce a little bit. Feel that grounding of hands or feet. Whatever is your favorite way to invite dog pose into your body. Stay present with your breath.
And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold, bend your knees a fair amount, and let your spine rest. Go ahead and shake and shimmy and move any way you want. And then find straighter legs, halfway lift. You can use blocks or hold your legs, extend the spine, lift and widen the sit bones. Exhale and melt and fold back down. Push off your feet, rise up, bring your arms anywhere you want them to be. Open yourself up, expand through your heart, and then relax your hands down. So you get to warm up your shoulders however you want to warm up. Do you want to do some big circles, or does that not feel good and you rather just kind of open and close on yourself? Find what's going to help your shoulders warm. And maybe even some twisting can help you warm your shoulders. So just take a moment to find what your favorite way of inviting some mobility in your upper body is. All right, and then big open heart, lean back a little bit. Exhale and fold forward. Relax the base of your skull, soften a bit. If you're still moving up there, that's fine. Catch up to us whenever you want. Inhale for a halfway lift. Extending the spine here. Feel the sit bones lift and widen. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to a plank. So whole body movement here. Feel that strength start to kick in. Shoulders are away from the ears. Breathing well. Start to fire up the stoking of the fire of your breath. So let the exhales engage your core. Be a little more assertive in your breathing, perhaps. Give yourself over to good breaths. And then put your knees down onto the ground. Find your way to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Open your body up to cobra pose, nice and gentle. Exhale and melt back down. Let's repeat that one more time. Shoulder blades down. Big breath in, exhale, and release. Take your feet, curl your toes under, lift your kneecaps up, take your legs wide. Inhale and lift your lower body up. Maybe your upper body stays down this time. Feel the work of your glutes, the outer hips. Find some strength building. Warm things up. Exhale and relax. Pick up your feet, sway them from side to side, letting your back soften and relax. And find your way onto all fours. Big breaths. Let's find our warming twist that we often do. Reach that arm up. Exhale and slide that shoulder under. Gaze toward the floor. Feel the space between your shoulder blades. Deep breaths here. Are you respecting your body? Are you doing movements? Are you modifying? Lift that arm up and place it down. Change sides. Are you modifying? Can you find your pathways through poses? Can you find your pace through poses? Can you skip poses if they're not right poses for you? Are you able to tolerate not being able to do things? Or does it make you sad or incapable? So work with the mind as much as you're working with the body to feel that what you are capable of today is perfect. It's the perfect embodiment of your being for right now. Find your breath, reach that arm all the way up to the sky, place the hand down onto the ground. All fours. You can always take fists or forearms on blocks if you need to. You can even stand up and just do this standing with your hands against a wall. Take your left leg straight back behind you, your right arm out in front of you, extending through the spine, root into the core. So feel the integration of your floating ribs, finding their way. You don't want to lock down your body so much, still have room for breath. And when you're ready, we're going to take the leg and the arm out to the side. Turn your toes toward the floor, integrate to the core. Try to imagine a block in your right inner thigh that you're hugging against so you're stable on the ground as much as you're stable in the air. And then release back to the long spine, arm and leg. Exhale, tuck underneath you, elbow and knee come toward each other. Inhale, we'll bring that arm and leg out. place the hand and knee down onto the ground. Second side, take your right leg out behind you, your left arm out in front of you. Maybe your arm is in a different place because of shoulder issue. So whatever's working for your body, always seek the trajectory of movement that works for your joints, that works for your ability to breathe, for your ability to stay stable. There's nothing wrong with taking breaks periodically. All right, let's take our leg out to the side, arm out to the side, toes pointing toward the floor. Integrate your left knee up into your hip. Feel your core. Hug an imaginary block with that left leg on the ground. Find your breath. All right, and then when we're ready, bring the arm and leg back to the long line. Exhale, elbow and knee coming in toward each other. Inhale, bringing it out. Exhale, placing it down. Curl both toes under, dog pose. Extending through the spine, taking a full breath here. Reach the right leg up in the air. And we're going to bring that foot through to a lunge. So you can always just put both knees down and bring your foot forward if that's an easier transition for you to get into a lunge. Find your breath. Back knee can lift off the floor. Back knee can stay down on the floor. Open the heart. When you're ready, rise up. Bring your hands anywhere you want them to be for crescent lunge. Whatever is going to serve your body best. Find your breath. Drop your shoulders down. See what it feels like to extend the spine. Feel the ribs stay grounded in the body. Maybe look up to challenge your balance and just start to turn on the balance, part of your nervous system. And then exhale and reach your arms back. Stay low for a moment and you're going to decide where you want to twist to land. Do you want to put your left hand on the ground and lift your right arm to the sky? Would you rather come up a little bit higher and put your forearm or elbow on your knee and find a deeper twist? So whichever way you want to be in your posture, you find what's working for you. Open across your collarbones. Let that femur bone lift behind you. Hug to an imaginary block. The spine keeps growing as you're breathing. Who cares how deep you are? Find your breath first. Stay rooted in your big toes. All right, and then release your hands down onto the ground. Walk your back foot forward. Fold in half for a moment. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and relax back down. Step your other foot back. Left foot is forward, right foot is back. Coming into a lunge on this side. Hands can be on blocks or on the floor, wherever you're comfortable. Extending the heart. Feel the openness of that back leg. Feel the openness of the spine. When you're ready, press your feet into the floor and rise up to crescent lunge. Okay, so anytime you get off kilter, there's also this concept I learned about when I first learned about Kinstugi, which is wabi-sabi, that we are perfect in our imperfections, that things that are imperfect have more beauty in them because they're real. So there's concepts in art all over the world. There's a lot of Native American artwork where there's purposely a mistake in the pattern to show our beauty as imperfect. So balance, if you lose your balance, who cares? Just be in the moment, be in the breath, find the beauty of what it feels like to ground yourself again, to lose yourself and find yourself over and over. Come into your twist, whatever you did on the other side. You can first find a lower stance with your arms back behind you to feel the length of your spine, and then find your way to whatever you did over on the other side. Repeat here if you can, but perhaps your body's different on this side and you're injured or you're more free and you can go deeper. So things don't have to be symmetrical. Sometimes symmetry feels really nice in the body. So you choose, finding the breath. All right, and then when you're ready, rise back up. Bring the arms to the sky or anywhere that feels nice. And then exhale your way down. Lift that left leg all the way up in the air. Three-legged dog on this side. Place your feet down onto the ground and come onto your knees. Find your breath. Come all the way to the floor. You can have a plank in there if you're working on building some strength. Go ahead and find a plank on the way. Rest on the ground for a moment. Let's take the forearm, the left forearm in front of you. Reach back and grab your right your right ankle. So if you can't reach, use a strap or grab onto your pants. We're just stretching the quads here for a moment. Your body can be all the way down. Your head can be resting on your forearm, or you can lift yourself up a little bit. Decide what feels best in your body. Stretch the quad, feel the tailbone reach toward the knee. Stabilize through your center body. So feel your core. Notice if you lean into one hip more than the other. And then release that. And let's switch sides. Grab onto the left ankle with the left hand. If you can't reach, wrap a strap. If you don't feel like that, grab your pants. Sometimes just if you're, trying to not have to go get props and just start lifting the leg, it doesn't stretch your quad as much as it could, and you might get a hamstring cramp. So better to have a closed chain where you're holding on. Feel the pelvis stabilize so you're not collapsing in the lumbar spine. All right, relax that. Come up onto all fours. Have a moment of swirling around the spine, whatever way feels best. We're going to come into Vasisthasana, but with a little bit different variation. So right hand is on the floor, right knee. Here, I'll do it so I'm mirroring you. The right hand, right knee, right foot, left foot, all lined up on one plane. Take a deep breath, lift your arm in the air if it's comfortable, slide the shoulder blades down the back. Can you root a little bit into the earth with all points of contact? Can you feel, because our chin is not perpendicular, that it's parallel, can you start to wake up some of those deeper muscles that rotate your hip open? Find the breath. All right. Now, if you are able to, lift your leg in the air. And don't worry if your foot can't go very far or if you lose your balance. Open the chest, turn your toes, point straight in front of you instead of up toward the sky. Integrate into your core, knees into hips. Okay, and then relax that, and let's come to the second side. So your hand, your knee, your feet, all on one plane. Open the chest, shoulder blades away from the ears. Maybe the arm lifts in the air, maybe you keep your hand on your hip. So notice what's here with your left hip. Can you feel that rotation in the hip joint? Press your shin into the earth. Feel your back foot also ground. Breathing here. Shoulders are soft, so we don't have to hold ourselves up with our neck. All right, and then when you're ready, let's go ahead and try to lift that right leg up in the air. Toes are pointing straight in front of you. Open the chest. Feel the integration. See if you can feel it all through your core, through your hip. Press your shin into the ground. All right, let's come back. Flip your hand back down, dog pose. Extend through the spine. Feel free to bend your knees. If your back was bothered at all by those last couple of poses, try integrating knees into hips, elbows into shoulders. You can find some bent knees and elbows. And then extend your body out. Walk both feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet. Rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. And exhale and relax. Close your eyes for a moment. Just feel your grounding. And open your eyes. Find a drishti. And we're just going to start to work a little bit simply with balance. So just coming up onto your toes, coming back onto your heels, kind of rocking back and forth between the two.
waking up some of the muscles in your feet and in your legs that help you with balance, as well as waking up the nervous system, teaching the mind to stay open to the possibility of balance. How's your breath? All right, put your heels down, find chair pose. You can have your legs apart or together. You decide how you want to be. Draw the rib cage back, feel the extension through your spine, regardless of what you're choosing to do with your arms. So there's so many different choices. See if you can stay grounded in both feet, drawing the knees back into the hips, integrating to the center body. Find the weight into your heels, lift your toes a little bit, relax your neck and shoulders. Stay present with your breath. All right, and when we're ready, we're going to take this all the way up to stand on our tippy toes. You can put your arms where you want them. Trust the bones in your feet, and if they don't feel good doing this, don't do it. All right, let's put our feet back down. Drop some weight into your right foot. We're going to come into tree pose so you can hold something if you need to. You can have your foot high toward your inner thigh, low on your shin, or even toes on the floor. Try not to have your heel right at your knee. So wherever you end up going, find your way where your body feels stable. Okay, your joints are not locked out. The knee you're standing on has some movement to it, a little bounce to it. Feel the hip draw in, so use those outer hip muscles. Spread the feet. Where do you want your arms to land? What's giving you the sense that you are spacious and free? Okay. Are you able to work with the wabi-sabi? You know, if you are imbalanced, can you feel perfect even with your wobbles? Allow the knee to draw back. See if you can feel the work of the deep muscles that externally rotate that hip. That's what's bringing the knee back, not just turning your whole torso, but draw the knee back as your ribs stay stable and your pelvis stays stable. How's your breathing? Let's go ahead and release. Place that foot down onto the ground and bounce. You don't have to leave the floor. You can leave the floor if you want to leave the floor. So just get some, bouncing movement. This is so good for your body. Ground yourself. Left foot rooting into the earth. We're going to pick up the right and place it. See if you can find some symmetry to what you just did on the other side. Don't worry if you need to do something different, but if you're able to have symmetry, try to find it. Remember, you don't have to have your foot so high. Your foot can be very low. You can even still have your foot on the floor. All right, so find your breath. Where do you want your arms to be for this posture? Where's your gaze? Find your drishti. Soft gaze, steady gaze. Soft knee, steady knee. What does it feel like to have an open heart in this pose? To relax your neck and shoulders. To let that knee draw back from the deep work in the hip joint instead of turning the torso back. How's your breath? Can you feel the foot on the ground and your foot on your leg? What are they touching? What kind of sensation are you getting? All right, and then release the leg. And one more time, you can find some jumps or some hops, whatever feels good. You don't have to hop. Okay, so anything that feels nice in the body. And then take some deep breaths here. Ground yourself. Feel the aliveness of rooting into the earth and let it rebound through you. Take a deep breath in. Open up the heart. Spread your wings. Exhale and fold forward. Relax your head. Halfway lift. The spine grows. The sit bones lift. Exhale and melt back down. Let's step back to a plank. Hold steady here. Stretch your heels back. Extend the spine. Collarbones are broad. Deep breath into the integration of your core. Exhale that core into effort.
We're going to put our knees down and we're going to put our forearms down, and we're going to start in a forearm dog pose. So lift your hips high again. Stretch your heels. Just enjoy after, working with some balance. Let the calves open. Lift the shoulders up toward the hips. Relax your neck. Hug the forearms toward each other so the work is in your lats. The work is in your serratus instead of collapsing in your shoulder joint. And then let's start to slowly walk our feet back. So we're turning this into a forearm plank. And you can always put your knees on the ground if you need to. There's no reason why your knees have to be in the air. Shoulders are away from the ears. Find the integration of your breath. The long exhales, steady your core. All right, and then lower yourself down to the ground. And maybe Sphinx pose, maybe Cobra pose, maybe a wide-armed Cobra pose. What's your body asking for? Just find a back bend. And then exhale and melt yourself back down. Come, actually stay down there. Stay on your belly for a moment. Take your legs, lift the kneecaps up, take them wide. And let's lift the legs one more time. And then experiment. Turn your toes out. Turn your toes toward the floor. And just feel the work that's available to hold your femur bone into the pelvis. And then add some arms to whatever favorite position you found in your legs. Feel the back body engage. Exhale and melt back down. Come up onto all fours. Find your breath. Relax back into child's pose. Let your glutes rest for a moment. Breathing deeply. Come back to dog pose. Extend through the spine when you're ready. Deep breaths here. Lift the right leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through to a lunge. Take the variation to get there to whatever works for you. So if you need to put your knee down and come up, however you get there. And then we're going to come and open up and turn to the side. So find Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Just like when we were doing that tree pose, can you feel the deep work of this right hip joint? Maybe spin your jarley where your toes turn out and your heel turns in a little bit so that you find the work of hugging into that external rotation right in the hip joint. Where do you want your arms to be? And remember, your pose does not have to go deep to be perfect. Okay, so find what makes your joints happy. Find what gives you the capacity to sense into that external rotation in your hip joint. Breathe into the openness of the back leg. Feel the sense of openness in your heart. Find your way to reverse. Just enjoy the ribs opening. And then elbow down, heart opening. Feel the other side of your ribs opening. Stay rooted, both legs rooted. What little things do you find in each pose that you're like, oh yay, there it is. That's what I love about this pose. When you have a regular practice and you keep coming home to these postures, there's something to love, right? There's something that feels really good in the body. Breathe in and find those places. All right, great. And then go ahead and come back to dog pose. 2 hands on the ground, 2 feet on the ground. If you're sick of dog pose or your shoulder doesn't like it, come onto all fours instead. Just find symmetry, melt the head. Deepen the breath. Inner spiral the thighs here. When you're ready, left leg lifting up. Exhale, that leg comes through. So modify that however you need to. Get up into the pose, however is best for your body. Okay. Once you're upright, turn and open up to the side for Virabhadrasana 2 legs. Ground yourself. So remember, depth is not as important as stability. So maybe you need to be up here where your knee isn't as bent as coming down here. So find what's working for your joints, what gives you the capacity to breathe well. Root your feet into the earth. Feel that work of the front, your left hip. Can you spin the foot? So the toes ground and spin a little bit to the left. The heel grounds and spins a little bit to the right. Nothing's moving, but just that extra little effort in the foot can rebound up into the hip joint and teach it how to use those smaller muscles to externally rotate and stabilize the femur bone in the joint. Finding the breath. Shoulders are down, relaxed. What's beautiful here? What's perfect, even in its imperfection? When you're ready, you can open up the ribs. Just enjoy that space. And then find your way into Parsvakonasana. Once again, what do you love? What's here that you love? Drop the shoulders. Maybe it's not the posture that you love, but the way it makes your body feel afterwards that you love. So whatever is here that feeds you, let it feed you. Can you modify anything that you need to so that your body is able to be perfectly comfortable in its effort? All right, let's go ahead and come back up. Turn your feet and heel toe your feet in. Okay, so one more time, you can shake your legs, get grounded. Breathe your way here for a moment. Relax. Okay. We're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana. We're going to move this into Ardha Chapasana if our bodies are ready for it. Okay, so you get to decide what's available to you. Okay. So remember always when we come into Ardha Chandrasana, we want to go in the way we come out, or we want to come out the way we come in. So put your foot down onto the ground, and you can start this. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm just going to go right into it. But you can start it with triangle pose or Parsvakonasana or Virabhadrasana, whatever feels good to you. But that foot is going to point straight. Take the block out in front of you a little bit off to the right, and then find your way up into Ardha Chandrasana. So as you come into the balance of this pose, the standing right leg, can you feel that you're in external rotation in that hip? That work we've been doing all along. Feel those muscles engage, soften your knee, and don't worry about your wabi-sabi. You know, if you're imperfect in this pose and you're imbalanced and you fall apart, can you, put yourself back together again? Can you try again? Don't worry so much about the ways your body struggles, but know that the struggle is the work of the pose. It's not about the pose. It's about what you do within the struggle of the pose. Where does your mind go? Where does your breath go? How do you stabilize the body as best as you can in this moment? Soften the knee you're standing on. Work that external rotation to help you turn and open the navel toward the hip in the air. Now, if you want, grab onto your ankle and come into Chapasana. So you're coming into an extension through the heart, through the quad, breathing deeply. Make sure you're not hyperextended in your knee. If you're ready to come out, whenever you're ready to come out, make sure you're coming out the same way you came in. Don't worry if your balance gets lost. Find your way out when you're ready. Pause with your two legs wide for a moment. Bring your arms out. Let's just enjoy. Invite some energy, big energy. Open your heart, invite the whole universe in. Can you embrace? And then relax your arms and let's move to the second side. So remember we're going in from an externally rotated leg. So don't start and then lift. You don't want to start this pose with your feet forward, put your foot down and then turn open. That's a lot of rotational force when you're weight bearing in your hip joint. So find your way in healthy patterns, going in and out the same way. Foot is grounded, pointing straight. So try not to let that foot turn in or out. Block can be a little off to the pinky toe side of your foot to give you a little broader base of support, Try not to let the leg fall in the air. Lift it. Use those outer hip muscles. Open your chest. Use your core. Integrate your knees into the pelvis. Feel that external rotation of your standing leg. Turn the navel toward the sky. Find your breath, the rooting. Don't worry about your wabi-sabi. If you get all off kilter and you can't stay balanced, that's okay. Be okay in your imperfections. There's no solid ground in balanced poses. It's not about cement. It's about fluidity, staying present. If you want to move into Shavasana, grab onto the ankle and then stretch your knee. Try not to hyperextend your back too much. Integrate your core. Open the breath. Soft knee you're standing on. All right, and then whenever you're ready to come out of the pose, if you're not already there, you come out the same way you came in. Come back down to your mat, dog pose one last time. Integrate everything here. Feel the symmetry. And then we're gonna put our knees down onto the ground and find child's pose. Take your knees close, take your knees far, whatever it is that you want. Find your breath. Deep inhale, long exhale. Now we're down on the floor, so just enjoy the coming home to the earth. Can you give something to the earth here? Can you let go of something? All right, we're gonna flip over onto our back. Okay. Find your breath. Grab a block, low height of the block under your sacrum. Let's just allow this to nourish the sacroiliac joints. You know, when you stand on one leg, and especially when you stand on one leg and do external rotation, your SI joints, you know, it can be a little stressful. So we want to make sure that we're soothing our sacroiliac joints, our hip joints, kind of get all the puzzle pieces back together again. So just rest on the block. There's no purpose of this other than just resting. Breathe deeply. Now, depending on what feels good to your sacrum, maybe you want to have your knees kind of hover over your pelvis. Maybe you want to straighten your legs and let your legs hover over your pelvis. Maybe you want to bend your knees and bring them closer to your pelvis. To your chest. So whatever, find the secret sauce. What's going to help your sacrum feel a little traction, perhaps, a little bit of comfort, whatever helps you to resolve the standing poses. Let them integrate. We're not trying to heal from the standing poses. The standing poses are healing to our body. We're just integrating. All right, now, if you're comfortable on that block, cross your right thigh over your left thigh and draw your knees into your chest. If you feel like you need something a little softer, replace the block with the blanket so that your pelvis is just a little higher than your shoulders. And we're going to take the right thigh over the left thigh and draw the knees in. Now, if you just love reverse pigeon pose instead of this, this is the joy. This is your body. This is your practice. So you can take any road through your practice that you want. You do not have to follow my lead. Okay? Relax everything. All right, let's go ahead and take 2 feet on the ground. Okay, and then lift them back up. And we're going to cross left thigh over right thigh and draw the knees into the chest. So, you can mess around with this pose to go let the stretch go in different places in your hips. You can hold your feet
which is very different than holding your knees. So if you draw your feet toward your shoulders versus holding your knees, you'll just get little different spots to open up. So just find what's working for your body. All right, let's go ahead and release that. Feet onto the ground. Get your blankets out of there. Find your breath. We're going to just take a moment, 2 blocks or 2 blankets, stick them underneath your outer knees, and rest in a supported Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment. We won't be here super long, so just adjust. I don't love the feeling of the blocks. I'd much rather have blankets. So, you decide. And if you are using the blocks, experiment. You can try putting the blocks long ways underneath you, short ways. Just find what feels most comforting for your body. So it feels like to rest. Open your limbs out. So your arms, instead of having them like cross over your body, see what it feels like to open them up. Give way into your openness. Trust the surrender. What else can you melt here? All right, let's straighten the legs for a moment. Take your feet hip width apart and just rock left and right, toes, pigeon toes, and then externally rotate. But let it be a rocking feeling so that you're kind of swinging the legs all the way from the femur bones. The movement takes care of itself. You don't really have to use very many muscles to do this rocking. Okay, and then we'll finish off with a little bit of a twist. So bend your knees again, hips go over right, knees up, drop left. Then you decide if you want to keep your knees together with your feet bent, or maybe you want to straighten the top leg. Keep your knees together, straighten the top leg, and grab onto your big toe or your pants or your shin somewhere to have a little deeper stretch in the IT band and the gluteus medius. You don't have to do this, but if you're feeling the effects of the poses we did, that might be nice. How's your breath? All right, lift your knees back up. Scoot your hips to the left, knees come up and over right. And if you can't reach the floor, stick a block underneath your shin so that you have some support. Remember that you have a chest involved in this pose, a shoulder involved in this pose. So take a deep breath and feel the upper back twist a little bit too. Open across your chest, turn your head. Find your breath. Decide whether you want that top leg to be straight or bent. Okay, and then release that. And let's find knees into your chest. Maybe happy baby pose, maybe just some rocking. And then allow yourself to find Shavasana. So what support do you need? Do you need blankets over you, under you? Do you need your head to be supported? Do you need your knees to be supported? When we slip into Shavasana, we're going to slip back into our gold bath, our warm liquid stream. Direct the gold where you need it to be. So as you find your way into the deep rest, nourish healing within you. Instead of hiding from our healing or trying to hide our cracks from self or others, can you expose? Can you be vulnerable enough to expose where you feel weak, where you feel vulnerable, where you feel injured, traumatized, afraid, and let the bath, the gold warmth, penetrate you. Give yourself over to fortification from this presence. Know that your resiliency comes from your challenge. If we were never met up against hardship of any kind, we would be like limp noodles, right? We get stronger when we are forged in the fire. So turn the fire into this warm gold.
Melt your breath and limbs. Ease yourself down. So begin to deepen your breathing again. Invite movement any way you like to transition from Shavasana. As you are ready, find your way onto your side. Come up to find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes and feel your practice, the effects of your practice. I'm going to read a bit of this one more time. Kinstugi refocuses our attention from what should have been toward creating something infinitely more beautiful with what remains, and perhaps far more honoring of who we were made to be all along. Let's place our palms together and offer our strength, our beauty, our resiliency outward. Share what you have gained with another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.